get Eli. All right, I am your host with the most, Aaron Cass, here with Hollywood Ray and Christian Cruz from the Giant Topic. He has returned. That means he likes us. We must be doing a good job. But before we get started, I have three things to say. What does Cayenne Pepper, Devin Hester, and Peyton Manning all have in common? NFL playoffs. And I'll explain I'll explain them all as we go along. But before we get started, make sure y'all like, subscribe, follow Fake Football Analysts on YouTube, and not just us too. Follow the Giant Topic on all social media platforms. Exactly how I wrote it. So, fellas, how are we doing tonight? I already know Hollywood Ray is excited because of his Patriots.
Yeah, no, listen, man, I'm good. I think I know you guys did one last week, but this is probably the first time I did a reaction show right after on a Sunday night. So,
it was good, wasn't it?
That alone, I'm excited as well. A lot of good football overall. Some surprising stuff that happened definitely over the weekend. So, we just witnessed a really good game between Chicago and LA. So yeah, looking forward to getting into it, and happy to have Christian on the show again.
Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate you guys having me on. It was definitely a great show the last time. I know today's going to be an even better show. I agree with Hollywood Ray. There was some really good football this weekend. I feel like the entire playoff series, has been very solid for the NFL. Some questionable things here and there, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But sticking with today's football and yesterday's, very good. Very excited to see how next week's going to go.
Yeah, speaking of that, so let's get right into it. Denver, Buffalo. Man, the turnover battles, you'll never win them if you cause too much. Buffalo had 5 turnovers in the game, 2 picks by Josh Allen. He got sacked 3 times. He had 3 fumbles, 2 recoveries, lost 1, threw a pick. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on this one? We'll start off with you, Hollywood Ray.
Well, I'm smiling.
Exactly.
Now, I think you had Denver. I thought that Buffalo was going to win, mainly because I wanted to be the one to end, Buffalo's season. That's my competitive nature as someone that's in their division. I wanted to end their season. But yeah, thank you, Denver. Thank you. let me give you all the Mile High salute. Thank you. Appreciate that. But and I'm sure we're gonna, one of us is gonna say it again, but I'll start it off by saying, hey, damn, homie. In 2021, you was the man, homie. You was the man, Josh Allen. And damn, Mahomes not there. Lamar not there. Burrow not there. And you still can't get to the championship game? Damn, tough scene. But I know who is going, though, and we'll get into that shortly. But, hey, listen, bravo, Josh Allen. Great season. You just got your coach fired. Shout out to Denver. But all jokes aside, man, shout out to Denver for getting it done. They were definitely the underdogs even as a 1 seed, but they avenged their loss from last season when they played Buffalo. So just sucks what happened to Bo Nix in the aftermath, though.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. So, Christian, what are your thoughts on the Denver, since we already heard about the Buffalo side?
I mean, I'll say this much. That defense is serious. It's a very good defense. They have guys all around, whether it's their D-line, their their linebackers, their safeties, their corners. They are just a complete unit on the defensive side of the ball. I thought Bo Nix had a fairly decent game. Me personally, I expected Bo Nix to have a fairly decent game, considering that, in my opinion, and Hollywood Ray, I feel like maybe you could attest to this, playing against the Buffalo Bills twice a year. Mm-hmm. I thought their secondary was very suspect throughout the entire season, let alone their entire defense. Yeah. And especially their run defense, it's not the best. Like Hollywood Ray mentions, and I'm going to just kind of piggyback off of it. This was a horrible game by Josh Allen. Just a completely horrible game by Josh Allen. And, you had guys like Deion Dawkins, just to name a player. But there was a couple in post game interviews that were saying, Josh Allen didn't let us down. We let him down. No, you didn't. Josh Allen let you guys down. Josh Allen had a horrible game. And look, I understand just looking at the chart right here, it's going to show 283, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That does not show how Josh Allen actually played in this game. I know that we'll probably dive a little deeper into it, so I don't want to take up too much time. But, for me, I was more disappointed in the Buffalo Bills than I was impressed by the Denver Broncos. I think, hey, enjoy the win while you can, Denver. I have very little confidence in you guys next week going against the Patriots. I'm being honest with you, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off of that, he has 3 touchdowns, but McCole Hardman had a 4-yard touchdown, then he dropped the ball. You saw a lot, we talked about in the pregame earlier this week, who's the Bills' number 1 receiver? It cannot be Khalil Shakur. Keon Coleman. He couldn't even catch a touchdown pass that was right in his hands.
Couldn't catch a cold.
Couldn't catch a cold. He
catch a cookie though.
Right. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah,
it is.
It definitely is. And even like what Christian said, the Bills secondary definitely looked pretty sus. I mean, our former Giants receiver, little Jordan Humphrey, wasn't so little when he caught that touchdown pass by Bo Nix.
He was a Patriot too.
Why gotta ruin my moment?
I was going to say, I didn't even remember he was a Patriot. But hey,
no, he was.
We're all sick individuals, and we know guy 1 through 53. We're sick individuals on the show.
Yeah, we are. We know too much. That's the problem.
We need help. So he was terrible for both of our franchises. It was.
Whoa! Speak for yourself. He scored a touchdown against Philly this year.
That was pretty good for us. I can't lie.
On a Thursday night.
Yeah. Well, actually, that was a great game for y'all. That was a great game for y'all.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But since we already kind of talked about, let's talk about the Bo Nix situation. Breaks his ankle on the second to last play, which was a kneel.
That's crazy.
How do you do that? I don't get it. So
finish the game though. That's what I'm saying.
Do you call him a warrior? I don't know.
I mean, it's not like he ran to the end zone on some Braveheart type shit. Let's not go crazy. Let's not say this. Right, we gotta bring that back, right? It sucks because once again he's had a really good season. I don't know. To me, it's hilarious to me that Jarrett Stidham has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I think that is comedy to me. Like I said, we'll talk about it, but that is unbelievable that Jarrett Stidham, of all people,
the starter at Auburn when Bo Nix was there as a freshman,
right? So
goes to the Patriots. I mean, could the NFL not script this even more? Is Bo Nix even hurt?
All right, here we go.
Hey, I listened to Aaron Foster.
Here we go. But listen, I thought about that earlier too. I said, damn. When I said, of course. I said, we're gonna come on. I said, we're gonna have an Arian Foster moment where we talk about what's scripted, what's not. But I'm like, if there's anything that does feel scripted, it's definitely this. Because damn, Stidham come in, have a chance to go to the Super Bowl against his former team. That some people actually thought that he was going to be the successor, which is, I want to know whatever people were smoking. I need to know. Unbelievable, smoking, drinking, whatever. Just unreal. But
yeah,
I said great season. I'm not just gonna dismiss that it's gonna be a cakewalk. Once again, I regardless of who was playing, I thought that New England was gonna win. So let me put that out there. I'm not dismissing that. It's always teams rally around guys. It's weird. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's gonna be, a 41-17 type game. That'd be phenomenal. That'd be great. But I'm not claiming that. I'm not booking that as we do on the show. I'm not booking that yet. So
yeah, no, I get that completely. Ray, Aaron, there was a lot of people who felt that this would be the best opportunity for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to go and win a Super Bowl.
Right.
But I'll take it an even step further. This was the best opportunity, in my opinion, for them to at least attempt to continue their streak of owning that division. I think with the rise of New England, we'll see what happens with Miami, and the Jets are the Jets. But right now, I think it is Buffalo and New England. If I'm going to give an edge, you kind of have to give the edge to New England going into next season because they don't have any talent offensively outside of James Cook and Josh Allen. They have no wide receiver threats. Honestly, y'all can call me crazy. Knowing the Bills, they're going to give Brandon Cooks like a 2 or 3 year deal.
They're going to have to. They don't have anybody.
You don't have to.
They don't.
They're going to be 33. Up in cap space.
He's going to be 33.
He is.
He has some good moments, but
that's the thing. Who else do they have besides Shakir and Keon Coleman? I'll be honest. I'll be surprised if he's on the roster next year.
So, I mean, I don't know who they. I mean, you said they're in cap hell, but Philly shows us every year that the cap thing is a joke. Like it's not
for sure,
not real. Yeah. So you can find whatever you want to find, just restructure it once you get the person. Maybe they go out and make a trade. I don't know. But I just, to me, I mean, obviously, Vegas is not very good. I mean, granted, I would see what they would want for Bowers if that was the case. Could you get a hole for him? Because once again, they're not going anywhere. I mean, I see you shaking your head, Aaron, but I'm like, every time I always call them Oakland on here. They're not Oakland, Vegas. Don't matter, Oakland, Vegas, whatever. Like it don't matter where they're at. They just haven't been good. I do wonder though, like if that team has been in a constant rebuild since 2002.
Yeah. No, you make a great point. I mean,
I
don't know if I would go the Bowers route, but
I would ask about it. I'm not saying they're gonna do it.
Yeah. Because I like Kincaid.
I would ask. And there's always a sucker.
There's
always a sucker when it comes to trades. Always.
I mean, if I'm Brandon Beane, at this point, I'm not saying that he's on the hot seat, but I feel like the seat is fairly warm, right? It has to be at this point. It has to be fairly warm. So if I'm Brandon Beane and the Buffalo Bills, there are two teams that I'm calling, and I'm calling to see about certain players, and they're in the same division. I'm calling the Dallas Cowboys for George Pickens, and then I'm also calling the Philadelphia Eagles for A.J. Brown, and I'm seeing which one of those teams want to give up either one of those wide receivers.
Better shot with George Pickens because he is a free agent.
Yeah, as I say, Pickens is a free agent, but you know who else I would go after? Which I'm saying I'm speaking as a Bills fan, but I wouldn't want this to happen because I'm a Patriots fan and I actually really like this player because he went to my favorite college school.
I hope that they get on that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course you do. Josh Allen would be really good with Kyle Pitts. Really good.
He would. He would.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I'd be sick personally because, like, it's still, it's still Gators, and I wasn't gonna love Kyle Pitts. Wanted him here. I just knew he was going to be, a top pick, and we weren't going to do that in 2021 when he came out. But if I'm Buffalo, and once again, Kincaid is nice. Dawson Knox is, okay, but talent wise, they're not what Kyle Pitts can be when he's on.
For sure,
he still fits their timeline, youth wise. So I think that Allen's only going to be turning 30. It's not like he's 35, 36 years old. I would inquire about Pitts. I would inquire about either A.J. Brown or Pickens, like you said. Once again, Pickens was very good this year in Dallas. Had over 90 catches, over 1,000 yards. Still proved to be a head case at times, but that's okay. It was in the early 90s. Once again, they had, Lofton, not Lofton. Was it Reed? No, Reed.
Reed.
So yeah, you're right.
Promises and so yeah. They have some characters on their team as well, and it's okay. So, they even had an older TO. So, if you can go get George Pickens, for a 3 or 4 year deal, and see what happens. But they do need a legit number one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen's not Jarrett Stidham, So there will be receivers that want to play with him. The real question is, though, it's like, will Sean McDermott come back, clean your desk segment? Like my son's laughing right now because he knows it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, but before we.
Tell him, Eli. Tell him.
That's right. Tell him, Eli. So before we go to the next game, Brandon Cooks, catch, yes, no, real quick. Christian.
In my opinion, I believe so, but I've had other people tell me no. I feel like in today's NFL, I don't know what. Excuse my language. I don't know what the fuck.
Hey, let's just say Football Analysts. All right, we're not sponsored. You're good, man.
I don't know what a catch is anymore. I really don't, man. I mean, I understand that there's been people talking about it's the Calvin Johnson rule, where if you go down with the ball, you essentially need to get up with the ball so you can hand it to the referee. But in my opinion, I just felt like until he hit the ground, and even when he was rolling over, it looked like he still had possession. But what I didn't like was how it didn't feel like the review was very extensive. And in that moment, in that high level of a game, I mean, how many times have we seen throughout the year plays that we know, like, okay, this is look, this is what it is. All right, let's get on to the next play, right? And they take their time analyzing damn near every angle. That didn't feel like the case here. Now, I'm not saying the NFL is conspiring or nothing like that. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You should not have been in that position in the first place. Josh Allen having all those turnovers, and you're still within a field goal.
Exactly.
You take away half of those, you're probably winning this game.
Right.
So
spot on, bro. But this is the thing too, right? And I was talking to someone about this earlier. Josh Allen has become a media darling.
Yeah, he has.
So,
I agree.
So if that's the case, you would think they would want them to win, right? Okay. So when people go down that route of like, oh my God, I can't believe it's so like Buffalo. Y'all, he has become the media darling. He's become a guy that can do no wrong. He has become Peyton Manning, because Peyton Manning was the same way. Couldn't do no wrong. 4-4 figures in the state of Tennessee, but couldn't do no wrong. That's wild. Wild to me. It's wild.
Hollywood, what they're gonna do is, because I feel like they do this every year. When Josh Allen and the Bills get screwed, what happens? We see a new rule coming to the NFL.
Right, facts. That's what I'm saying. So it's just like, are we gonna get? You have to score twice now in overtime. You have to score twice in overtime. Are you gonna review it at least for 5 minutes so that you get every angle, and you get Tony Romo's advice on Josh Allen? Because basically Tony Allen, I'm still thinking about basketball, but Tony Romo basically is like Josh Allen's ways. You just press it. It's like, all right, here, Jim. Here's a great play, Jim, from Josh Allen. Here's a great throw. If that guy comes down, it's man coverage, Jim. Watch him go here. And it's like, dude, like, get it off your lips, bro.
For real.
Like, I don't even talk like that. What do I do? Like, get it out your mouth, bro. Like, it's
you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. He's super talented. Like, I do another show called Missing the Point. I'm the one. I was ahead of the curve with Josh Allen. I said when Brady leaves, I said that's the new guy that's gonna run this division. Oh, erratic is this? Okay, but there was a play he had, I think his second season, where he leaped over a linebacker in Minnesota.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh my God. I said I don't know. They got to get him some help, but this dude could play, and I was right. And once again, he's crazy talented. I just don't think it's gonna happen in Buffalo personally. This just feels like a lesser, moment or version of the early '90s Bills.
Can I just throw this out here real quick, and then Aaron, I know you've been wanting to get in real quick, but I just want to throw this in here because you guys are basketball heads. Mm-hmm. Is it fair to say that Josh Allen is in terms of quarterbacks, is the NFL's version of James Harden? Extremely talented.
I'll give Aaron the floor. That's his guy. I'll give Aaron the floor on that one. I
I'm just
appreciate you bringing
saying.
it up.
Extremely talented. He'll get you to the playoffs. He'll score a ton of points. But when it comes down to it, he's not him.
Yeah,
He's not him.
Go ahead, Aaron. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead, Mr. Cass. The floor is yours, big dog. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, it was good seeing Christian Cruz on here. I'm fan. No, I'm gonna say yes and no at the same time. Yes, because Josh Allen doesn't make that much mistakes as James Harden would in the playoffs. We saw in the Golden State run of Golden State and Houston, but I can see it in that way because he hasn't won the big games. So I was gonna put him as like a. I can't say yes. I can't say no. He could be the James Harden. Yes.
Thank you. But I'm like, don't tap dance. Don't tap dance. It's okay.
I don't want to tap dance, but there are some layers there are a little bit of differences. But yeah, no, I'm not going to say no to that. That's a pretty good comparison. I would say Houston, James Harden, though, not like Nets or anything like that. I would definitely say Houston.
It's Houston because once again, they got, as you know, they got to the conference finals, 3 times under him? 3 times?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times. Say what you will. I mean, 2015 was different. 2015, that Warriors team was crazy. You had him Game 7. You had him. It was up 3-2. You had it. So it's not like, obviously both of our teams had terrible Game 7s that year, 2018. But Celtics fan, by the way. But it's like it's crazy. But yeah, no, he's absolutely James Harden, absolutely. And once again, nothing wrong with that because James Harden, obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer, just put up some crazy numbers in the league. So
he's a great player.
It's not a knock. It's just that's really what it is. And if we wanted to do. I get it. I'm over it too, Eli. I get it, big guy. I get it, buddy. But even
for the Bears fans,
Josh Allen right now is Dan Marino with legs. He can run. He's Dan Marino but can run.
I thought you were gonna say Jim Kelly, but okay, that's.
I mean, he's better than Jim Kelly. He's better than Jim. Now, granted, he's obviously not going to 4 Super Bowls in a row, but he's better than Jim Kelly. He's better than that. He's better than that. A while ago, in my opinion, anyways. Once again, either way, what's my favorite analogy on here? Baby. I work, baby. Big Daddy Kane.
Well, you know what? Talking about not getting the job done.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving to Saturday night.
Ooh,
boy, oh boy.
Oh.
And I see. I'm a Canes fan, so Michael Irvin. Belt to ass right there. My Lord. And I remember I said Devin Hester in the beginning of the game. So it all started with Rashid Shaheed. I was like, oh my God. That was Devin Hester right there. Yep. Take out that belt. Take out the belt. That's right. Belt.
You feel me?
My Lord.
It was just come here.
As soon as Rashid Shaheed got that touch, I was like, oh, they're done.
But
done.
Can we get credit for our analyst tape? We said on here, we both was like, yo, I got Seattle winning. We said we got Seattle winning.
Yep.
Now I didn't think they was gonna win 41-6. What? 41-6 is crazy. I would have loved to see somebody on this. Would you ever have you tried with a sorry receiver like Jawan Jennings? Like that'd have been perfect for me. Because Aaron Andrews was there. That'd have been great. To have a part 2 of that. They're for real.
Yeah.
And finally, because Aaron's been not getting on me, but I've been premature with the Kenny Walker love because I just thought he was really good, but he validated me last night. Because I've been waiting for him to have this type of game because I seen this coming. I was a little premature with it, but I seen this game coming. Unfortunately, I think Charbonnet got hurt.
He did.
If Kenny Walker's running like this, like they're going to the Super Bowl. Like they're going to the Super Bowl. That's how I see it. Once again, it's going to be a good game between them against LA next week. But if you're getting 100 from Kenny Walker, they shut down JSN and they still got smoked by 35 points. It's unbelievable.
And they only had 2 sacks.
Right. Crazy.
They only had 2 sacks and was just run all over them. And I get it. People are going to be like, oh, there's injuries. Like they didn't have anybody. And I get it. Cool. But you made it through the divisional round of the playoffs. You obviously did something right. I mean, granted, you did miss George Kittle with his Achilles, but Jake Tongs was your lead receiver, 59 yards. I just think Brock Purdy got a little bit off way too much he could chew, and he just flaked out in the playoffs. Christian, what did the Niners – what could have they done to stop this Seattle team, this freight train? Because they met 2 weeks ago, and Seattle won the division. So I figured, Brock Purdy is undefeated in Seattle, and it didn't look like that.
I'll be honest with you. There was nothing that the 49ers could have done to beat Seattle in this game. I think that Seattle, in my opinion, I mean, I don't know if we're going to receive pushback from the Patriots fan here. I feel that in every respect, even heading into this weekend, the Seahawks on every side of the ball is the most complete team. Whether it's at quarterback, whether it's at running back, whether it's at wide receivers, whether it's their defense, which had a phenomenal game, right? There's a couple things, right? So I'll start with the 49ers. The 49ers, they had a great season given the circumstances, right? So many injuries, losing key players on both sides of the ball, but they were still productive. They were still winning games. They were still, going out there and fighting. But ultimately in this game, I feel like their warts really showed, and it's very frustrating watching the 49ers in the postseason because, Kyle Shanahan is a phenomenal coach. He gets to the dance, but just doesn't win the dance, right? We've seen that time and time and again. And it's just like, I don't know how much longer that window is going to stay open. If not, it's already, I'm not going to say closed, but it's closing. Now, Seattle, on the other hand, one of my good friends, Doug, he's a Seattle Seahawks content creator. We talk Seattle Seahawks ball all the time. I have been very vocal with him about this, that I've been very impressed with the work that Mike McDonald has done with the Seattle Seahawks. In the short amount of time that he's been there, right? I got to give a lot of credit to Clint Kubiak, whether it's throwing the ball, whether it's running the ball, like Hollywood Ray mentioned, Kenneth Walker. He's a very good. I'm not going to say very good. He is a
serviceable,
solid running back. I think that he is their running back one. Now I know that they tend to split things between him and Charbonnet. You'll see Kenneth Walker get this big run. They get in the red zone. They're just like, hey, get the fuck on out of here. Charbonnet, come in. And
right.
Touchdown. But this was just a game where Kenneth Walker really, stamped himself as the running back one, in my opinion, if he had not already. Sam Darnold, I thought, played a fairly clean game. I will say this much, though. I think when you look at a lot of the games from this weekend, if people already weren't of the mindset of it, I feel like they should be now. That, yes, I understand that the quarterback plays a big part in the team's success, right? But you need a solid foundation around you, right? Philadelphia, what do they have? A solid foundation around them so that if Jalen Hurts doesn't play a good game, they're still going to be very close in that game because of who they have around them talent-wise. The Seahawks, if you would have told me that Sam Darnold only threw for 124 yards and had 1 touchdown, I'd probably say, damn, did they lose this game? But that wasn't the case. Defense played lights out. They were attacking Brock Purdy all night, making him uncomfortable, stuffing Christian McCaffrey for only 35 yards, which that doesn't happen. And then you're pounding the ball through the ground. And then, like you said, with Rashid Shaheed, me personally, I don't know about you guys. I love the fact that, the Seahawks have a guy like Rashid Shaheed because it's kind of bringing back the fear of kicking to certain returners of, hey, we cannot kick to this guy because if we do, he's going to either house it or this is going to be a big play. Kind of reminds me of Devin Hester, like you mentioned earlier, Aaron. So the Seahawks, I think that they have the best chance in the NFC, obviously, to go to the Super Bowl. We'll talk about them in a second. I wasn't entirely sold on the Rams after today's game. But if the Seahawks can play clean football, which Sam Darnold has been all year, I don't see why they don't. But the 49ers have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. They had 3 turnovers, 2 fumble losses, and an interception thrown. They were 0-3 on 4th downs. Like Seattle didn't even need to go do a 4th down. They didn't even go for it. They didn't need to. And they were 4 for 10 on 3rd downs to Seahawks, whereas San Francisco was 6 for 12. I mean, I felt so bad that Leonard Williams got a sack in this one. I was like, oh wow, that's a former Jet Giant right there. But I felt happy for him going to the NFC Championship game. So,
but to that point there, before I address what Christian said, like the fact that both Meadowland teams thought that they needed to move on from him, like he wasn't still a productive player, like that's wild to me. Like the audacity.
I get that. I get that.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like
not gonna happen anymore. All right, you see who's in New Jersey.
Hey.
Oh well, yeah. We get into that too because I know it happened. I said, damn. Of course, it happened after we were off the air. That could happen like right after. So we get into that. I do think it's a good move for y'all. So Christian, I agreed with about 99.8% of what you said.
Oof.
What is it? The complete part?
That's better than me. He never agrees with me.
So it's not true. The point to it, the point too is because I want to get clarity. I heard you say this, but I want to make sure that this is, where you're at. Or at least I want to know what you're thinking.
Sure.
Do you believe that Sam Darnold is better than Drake May?
I think that Drake May is having a great season. I think that in the long run, Drake May will be the better quarterback. But if we're talking about from the entire year, I think that Sam Darnold he's had a better year than what he had in Minnesota. He's played cleaner.
I agree with that. I agree with that he was better. He's been better here than he was in Minnesota. And I think that he's been a major catalyst for what they have done. And yes, of course, Drake May has become the guy. He's our guy in New England. I like it. Me personally, I wouldn't put him above there, but like he would be very much part of the reason why they do win. If they get there and get the job done. I just want to be clear on that because I was just like I wanted to hear the reasoning because I was just like, what we seen this boy do at 23 years old, like
that's great.
Do the special, and but like me and Aaron talked about this before too. With Sam, it's like damn, it's like what has happened to other spots? Because obviously he gets drafted by the Jets, goes 3rd overall,
sees ghosts.
Has the seeing ghost thing go viral. And my thing is the only reason why I would want them to win for next week, because to me, I would go to the Geno Smith route. I would say I went from seeing ghosts to seeing NFC championships. Like that's a bar right there. If they end up winning, like that to me, that should be on every t-shirt in Seattle, in Lumen Field. I was about to call it Quest Field because that's what we grew up as Quest Field then. But yeah, so that I just want to get that. But yeah, that would be either way, it'd be a cool story. Like I said, if the Patriots get there, because it's like, Brady got his first against the Rams, and then obviously he got his 4th one against Seattle. So that would be pretty cool if that was the case. But then even the Broncos and Seahawks, like Broncos, got smoked by Seattle, which that would happen again if that was the case. If they got
it definitely was, especially
if they got biased. I don't know, it'd be 43-8, but they would definitely get smoked.
Oh, they would. They would.
So crazy.
I kind of wanted to address this real quick because you had brought this up. I think when it comes with Sam Darnold, I think that he's a prime example of situations matter. Right. Yes. The Jets from top to bottom, completely dysfunctional. I don't trust their owner. I don't trust their process, I don't care who they select as their general manager. I'm not going to trust their process until they show me to trust their process. I'm not going to trust their coaching either. I mean, with Adam Gase, and then you go from that to who? Yeah, so it's like
I forgot about Adam Gase
with a Marty Morningwig as offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and then he goes to Carolina, and it's like really up until, in my opinion, this year, they weren't entirely stable. right? You showed some flashes in Carolina to where you're like, okay, if he could put the pieces together, if they could do this, if they could do that, but they weren't at that. They were not that team at that point in time.
Mhm.
You then go to Minnesota where things are more stable, right?
Wait.
San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco. Yeah, my bad.
And he went to the Super Bowl. So that, like, under Kyle Shanahan's leadership, you see what it was like with Brock Purdy and all them, all those veterans. I think that was like the unlock moment. Then with Minnesota, it was like, all right, cool. You have the best receiver in the game.
An elite play caller, a great running back, or good running. I keep saying
I was saying good.
A good running
Jones.
back.
I wasn't sure what to consider him. But
I'd say he's average.
He's not Ricky Waters, but he's good. He's good.
Ricky Waters.
Jesus. But yeah, coaching does matter. Situations do matter. I mean, it's no surprise to me, and I don't really look. And I know we mentioned San Francisco, but like me personally, I didn't see enough from Darnold in San Francisco to have any thought that the work that he put together the last 2 years, I didn't really see that in San Francisco.
Well, it probably was under practice. Probably was under practice. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what's that?
Sure.
That's valid. That's valid. But yeah, I think that he, like you said, he has done wonders being under, good coaching. And, like, once again, bringing it back to basketball, there was not documentary, but there was a series called Open Court where it was like Isaiah Thomas, Shaq, Reggie Miller, Grant Hill.
Great show.
Dennis Scott, great show. I would say bring it back because it was great insight there. But, Isaiah Thomas talked about with Chuck Daly and even Bobby Knight. He said that great coaches create great players, but they coach them from the neck up. And he was like, they speak to the mental. They, just really focus on the mind. The talent, the body was going to take care of itself. But if you can speak to the mind saying, hey, I can, in this situation here, I can do this. In this situation, I can do that. Like, that's where you unlock what it was supposed to be. Because once again, he went top 5 for a reason. Wasn't like, it wasn't like he, it wasn't like he was coming in being a scrub. He wasn't picked, 185th. So he was highly touted coming out of USC. And, he's now, once again, I bet every dollar in my pocket that they would love to still have him in New York right now. That was the case. But he was never going to, unfortunately, flourish. The fact that their best season came from a 39-year-old quarterback literally on his last leg, made the playoffs, but then, didn't do anything. I mean, people say Sanchez, but I said Sanchez wasn't as good as Brett Favre even in that season. But, it's just like, once again, you go to back-to-back AFC Championship games with Mark Sanchez, and then you disappear. It's unbelievable. It's crazy.
Guys. Oh, yeah, continue here.
Sorry, talk about disappearances. I don't know if there's anything left on the Seahawks game, but there was another game on Sunday. Oh, boy. Talk about a disappearance. And now I mentioned Peyton Manning in the beginning of the show because CJ Stroud must have been watching Peyton Manning film when Peyton Manning was with the Colts playing in Foxborough, and he was like, hold my beer. I got this. I couldn't even put anything offensively from each team because I just felt like it was just like a train wreck. So I just had to put everything for defense because it's more of like a defensive game.
It was.
Carlton Davis was trying to like Ty Law and get 3 picks. Didn't happen. Drake May, he doesn't know what snow is. He's never played in games like that on Chapel Hill. So, of course he's going to fumble. I said it to Will Anderson on the preview show. He was a game time decision. I think he was a good X factor with Danielle Hunter against the Patriots offensive line. I'm going to go to Christian first because I know what Hollywood Ray is going to say because he's going to go off. So Christian, give me your thoughts on this travesty that I have to. This is why I brought you on too. I couldn't hear Hollywood Ray too much.
I was it's so funny because I swear to God, I was gonna say this before you even like continued. I was gonna say, Aaron, I'm gonna just mute my mic, you mute your mic, and we're just gonna let Hollywood Ray talk because
don't give him
nothing I say is going to top anything that Hollywood Ray said.
No, you was brought in for a reason, man. You good? You good? Full yours, man. You good?
Look, this is what I'm gonna say. In terms of the Texans, I think that the answer is very clear. You go into this offseason, you pay Will Anderson, and you make CJ Stroud prove himself. Because I'm not giving CJ Stroud a dime. I'm not giving him a dime. He didn't play good this year. Hell, he didn't play good last year. And I think that he's been chasing the ghost of his rookie year, where he had a phenomenal year as a rookie. Now, in terms of the Texans offensively, their offensive line is putrid. It's been putrid. I think it's one of the biggest Achilles heels for the Texans as a whole. Now, defensively, I think that they have the best defense in the NFL, up there with the Broncos, right? But it's wild how, as great as that defense was today, it still was not enough for them to win because they were being held back by their quarterback. Now, I will say this much. I thought the Patriots defense played a lot better than I thought they were going to play, right? The Patriots defense looked like them Brady years defense out there. I mean, they were making Stroud uncomfortable, 3 sacks, 4. That man had 4 interceptions in one half. Like, that's ludicrous. Just absolutely ludicrous. And I don't even think if Nico Collins was in this game, it would have made a difference. They're for real, and I give a lot of credit, to obviously the defense. You want to give a lot of credit to Drake May as well, who's having a phenomenal year, second-year player. But I got to give a lot of credit to Mike Vrabel as well. I mean, just seeing the difference, the night and day difference between this team under Gerard Mayo, who I don't think necessarily was dealt the greatest hand, and then Mike Vrabel, who, how much money did you guys spend this offseason? What was it, like $300 million or something like that in free agency?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And listen, it paid off. It absolutely paid off. And then you look at how they attack the draft. Their draft picks are paying off. This is what franchises do. They hire the right guys. They execute in free agency. They execute in the draft, and you watch your team flourish. So to me, it's no shock that the 1 year that the Kansas City Chiefs don't make the playoffs and don't make the Super Bowl, lo and behold, the last dynasty, the real dynasty, in my opinion, goes back to the playoffs, is now in the championship. Most likely is going to go to the Super Bowl, right? So we got a Seahawks, potentially a Seahawks and Patriots reunion going on again. Can they right the ship and maybe not throw at the 1 yard line? We'll see. But I give a lot of credit to New England, man. I mean, I personally thought New England was going to win this game. I didn't think it was going to be in this fashion, but I'm very impressed with what New England's done, not just today, but the entire year. I understand they get labeled with the soft schedule, which is very valid, but they don't decide who they get to play. You play who you play who you're lined up against.
What?
God, you know what? Oh, you know what? That was good. For all American football analysts. You just started a Hollywood rant. Here it comes. The only thing I'm going to say. The only thing I'm going to say.
Aaron, you had your time. You had your time. You had your time, baby. But listen, let me tell you. Listen, Christian, you're my new brother, man.
I guess I'm not going to the cookouts anymore.
Listen, I appreciate those that can come on here and be be objective and not subjective. So, man, I appreciate that. But we are looking at a new era, belter ass era. Drake May. Listen, man. Listen, the defense. Listen, this is what they do in the locker room. So, Marcus Jones, one clap. Stephon Diggs, buddy, one clap. So listen, man, Diggs been a baller. Marcus Jones been a baller. Colin Davis finally had a Stephon Gilmore moment because I've been waiting. Because I've been on him. I've been on his head all year about what are you going to do when it matters most. He still has some PI calls. I was pissed off that he shouldn't have got called for, but he gets. They look at him extra because he's he is very handsy, so they just get on him. But the picks he had, crazy athleticism. Glad he showed up. You're absolutely right. This feels like 01. Not 03, 04. About 04, they people knew by then it ran through Gillette by that time. But 01, they were 5-11 the year before, 1-2 to start. Mo Lewis has the most important hit in NFL history by knocking out Drew Bledsoe. And remember, that team won against Oakland, right, in the snow. Then they had to go up to Pittsburgh at that time with Cordell Stewart, Jason Gilders, Amos Arizaway, Jerome Bettis, Hines Ward. It was a very, very good team. Very good team up there at that time. And that team had been to a Super Bowl. That team had been to some AFC Championship games. So, defensively, that team was very strong, just like this Broncos team was very strong. And that's what it feels like. Once again, well, we won't know until they actually win it, if they win it. But I was very pleased with what I saw overall. Once again, don't love the turnovers. Drake May has to be better when it comes to protecting the ball. I understand the weather was bad. I understand. And the problem is he has that gunslinger mentality. So he feels like, okay, I can make a play at any given time. Most of the times he's right. But I don't want that to be a Cam Newton situation in the Super Bowl or even next week in the AFC Championship game where you have a fumble like that and then someone from Denver is jumping on it and then it's like you eventually lose the game because of that. So hold on to the ball. It's two hands. You got to move through, do whatever. But overall, pleased. I didn't want the Texans for this reason because I felt like defensively they was going to cause problems, and they made Will Campbell and Jared Wilson look childish out there this afternoon. But childish should not. They're going back to Houston on their charter plane, and they're on the way to Cancun.
I can't tell what was worse, CJ Stroud against this Pats team or Brock Osweiler against this Pats team. My lord.
Recency bias, but once again, because more is expected from CJ Stroud, Stroud was worse. Brock Osweiler was never going to be someone you thought was a game changer, and he didn't go second overall.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Bryce Young had a better showing, and people was like, CJ Stroud was already better right away. Now it's funny, Christian, you brought up about him fighting the ghost of his rookie year. Someone on Twitter or X whatever wrote earlier, it was like, we're going to remember CJ Stroud's 2023 season the way that we remember Josh Gordon's 2013 season in Cleveland. I was like, wow. I was like, that's one, that's a crazy pull. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
But two, I thought that was spot on because it's true. I was like, at this moment, you cannot tell me an Ohio State guy that's been decent year in, year out. Not Craig Kensel, I'm saying it wrong, but not Troy Smith, not Cardell Jones. I'm trying to think. Give me some other names. I
JT Barrett.
Yeah, JT Barrett, Terrell Pryor, right? Now it's funny because Troy Smith, I thought Troy Smith was going to be a problem at the next level. When Heisman obviously goes fifth in the fifth round to Baltimore, but barely, he was out of the league like in 3 years. So it just goes to show, what my analyst take was at that time. But either way, like I said, this feels like 2001, and we should be excited in New England. Once again, the job is not done. But be happy for the progress, and it's a new day, and people are about to find out how good number 10 really is. So
and also to DeMeco Ryans hits that divisional wall yet again. Mm-hmm. He wins big in the wild card, either loses big or just loses in the divisional.
Yep.
So he's 0-3 right now in divisional games. Before we get to the last game, which wasn't too bad. Anything else on this Patriots Texans? Did we let it all out on the field?
No, yeah. I have something I do want to say here. Again, going back to what good franchises do, right? We were talking about hiring the right guys, executing in free agency, executing in the draft. 2 of their 6th-round draft picks, I believe it was in 2023, really showed up and showed out. Not just today, but in my opinion, all season. Kayshon Boutte had him. Is that how you say his name? Yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay. Kayshon Boutte had himself a great game. I think he's had himself a solid season kind of like a bounce back year, in my opinion, compared to last year. And then you have Demario Douglas, I believe that's who it is. They also selected in the 6th round.
Oh, yeah.
He had himself, he had himself a touchdown. Outside of that, it was fairly quiet, but he's one of those receivers I feel like is consistent. You're not going to want to lean on him entirely, but he's a consistent wide receiver. And then flipping it to executing in free agency, there was a lot of teams that were hesitant on giving Stephon Diggs, a contract, not a contract, but a multi-year contract due to the fact of him coming off of an ACL. I believe that's what he had.
Yeah,
and
it was.
Lo and behold, I mean, all 3 of them had a fairly solid game today, right? All of them had touchdowns. All of them had at least 1 touchdown. So I got to give a lot of credit. And, I think New England, they are going to be on the rise. I think Buffalo, if I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, this game kind of if this season hasn't put you on alert, this game puts you on alert of, we need to figure out our problems ASAP because New England is coming.
Facts.
Now, I will end it here, right? If New England is on the come up, Aaron, you know who else is on the come up?
It's coming.
Wait,
It's
so
coming.
okay, so no,
It's coming.
let's tap into that before we get to the LA game, right? Obviously, I'm the non-Giants fan here, but I think that's a phenomenal move. When you have is Thibodeau still there? Kayvon Thibodeau?
Yeah, he is.
For right now.
So
Right now.
you got him, Neighbors, and Dart. That's 3 that you can build around.
First off, you're forgetting about Scattaboo.
Oh, yeah, all right, yeah. I
Lower on my list, but yeah.
No,
continue.
right. I want to make sure he's healthy. But yes, he's also another guy that I was excited about. I wanted him here in New England as well. But I'm happy what Trey Henderson has done, obviously. Like Neighbors is a monster. And he's going to terrorize defense no matter where he's at. But he's a problem.
Don't worry. Don't say too much. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Higher.
But no, I thought we were going to talk about it now. So I was like, yeah, but no, if he
you know what? I guess we could.
Yeah,
we could talk about it after the next game if you like. Does that
yeah,
make it
that's
easy?
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, the floor be yours. I said my piece. I said I think it's a good hire. So the floor will be yours. But
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Yeah. You're good. Boy, I'm gonna kick you off here, sir.
How is this podcast gonna feel? Like Hollywood, what are you gonna say? I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but if the possibility that Jared Stidham does pull Denver out with the W, how are you feeling?
They are bad in Denver.
Yes, or yeah, historically they have been bad. So to be honest, it'd probably be our highest rated show that we've done.
Okay, I like that.
The reason why I say that is because obviously
I will bring most of the missing the point on here if that's
the anger that would be on like from any Pat show, like it'd be crazy. Like it'd be because there's actually people that actually like Stidham that did like Stidham when he was here. So I can only imagine the I can't even call it overreactions because it would be crazy. Like you can't lose to that guy in this game right now. Once again, if it's week 7 next year and Bo Nix was out and you're like, all right, you lose to Stidham on a wacky Sunday or Monday or Thursday, whatever. But a chance to go to the Super Bowl and things literally fell into place, like literally have fell into place for you. Like you win the division, you win 2 games at home, get a chance to go out to Denver. Like you can't lose to that guy. Once again, it can happen, right? Because any given Sunday. But and as fans, we could be happy about the season. We can be, but there should be nothing said in that locker room talking about being satisfied. There should be an insatiable desire to get the job done. So, but needless to say, it would be that little eye thing that's in the corner up here. It would be a lot of people would be watching that because people that know the show that we watch, like they'd be like, oh my God, I want to hear what he has to say, and they want to hear Aaron mess with me. So they would tune in for that.
Aaron, I got your back real quick. All I'm gonna say is this: if you lose to the Denver Broncos with Jarrett Stidham,
right?
If not now, when? I understand we spoke about the easy schedule, but you have bad playoff Justin Herbert. You have CJ Burger flipping Stroud, playing, and then you have Jarrett Stidham. That honestly, print the shirts. They're gonna go to the Super Bowl, but if they do not, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let Aaron say something. I'm gonna be in the chat, but just know when I'm in the chat, I'm gonna be like this.
So we can absolutely regardless next Sunday, we can definitely come back on and do this again at this time, because it'll be warranted. But yeah, man, I say it'll be sick. It'll be sick. I've been we haven't really been on here after some crazy the craziest loss that I've had on the show since we've done it was when the Celtics lost in 2022. That was the biggest.
Okay.
That was the biggest loss.
And for anybody that was watching That's My Sports at that time, this is the best quote you'll ever hear. One of our favorite guests, Jason Tatum, is a poor man's Paul George.
No. He's a homeless man.
Oh, that's right, a homeless man's Paul George.
Listen, that is music to my ears because I'm a Tatum hater.
Yo, Chris, I was so mad.
It was like the greatest episode ever.
I was so mad. I was so mad, bro. I was so mad. I said, homeless Paul George. And Aaron's eating up. Aaron's just like egging him on. I'm living. And I'm just like, no. I said, are you kidding me? Homeless Paul George? I said, cut it out. Cut it out.
That was by Rose Gold Dirty. Check him out on iTunes, Spotify, all of that.
Yeah.
But see, now Hollywood Radio is still going to be on a high because this last game of the night, his non-favorite Patriot player, Mr. Matthew Stafford from Texas, essentially won the game for this LA Rams team. Caleb Williams had some good moments. I missed the first half because I was doing a hockey show with Variety Sports Network. Check that out with the 5-hole. Put a little plug in there. But from what I saw in the second half on, Caleb Williams looked like he was in command of his offense. He fed off the Bears' energy at Soldier Field. I thought the Rams weren't going to win this one just because it's Soldier Field in January with snow. I heard they put cayenne pepper in their socks to keep themselves warm. So I was like, yeah, the spice is going to run out real quick with this.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Didn't know it was a thing either. Kyron Williams went off. That was an unbelievable catch by Devontae Adams. That's why you pay the man. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Caleb Williams, he threw a pick that he shouldn't have. He trusted Luther Burden, I think, a little bit too much as a rookie. DJ Moore, I don't know where he was on that last pick, but he didn't run the route he was supposed to. Loved the game-tying touchdown to Cole Kmet. Oh, my God. I didn't realize Caleb Williams had an arm like that. USC quarterbacks are never good in the snow or in general in the NFL. Christian, what did you say about this game?
I thought this was a game that Chicago should have won. Kind of similar to the Buffalo Bills game, right? When you have so many turnovers, but the game is still that close, for me personally, I'm not expecting everyone to agree, but for me, I think that speaks magnitudes to actually how good your team is, right? Chicago, a lot of people were very suspect of what the production that Ben Johnson was going to have this year. I think they're a serious team, going forward. Caleb Williams, I think, when Matthew Stafford does decide to retire, I think he's the best quarterback in the NFC. I'm taking him over Jordan Love. I like Jordan Love, but I'm taking him over him. I like Sam Darnold, but I'm taking Caleb Williams over Sam Darnold. This is still, I think a lot of people, when they see the success that Drake May is having, right? There's some people that put him in that MVP conversations. I'm sorry, Hollywood Ray, I am not. But I think when a lot of people see how great of a year these two rookies, or not rookies, second-year players are having, I think a lot of organizations are going to put those expectations on their rookie quarterbacks of, hey, look, Jaden Daniels, his rookie season, what did he do? Caleb Williams and Drake May, their second year, what did they do? You know, Drake May has the potential to go to the Super Bowl. Caleb Williams, I mean, he made some boneheaded decisions here and there today, but it was a difference of, you know, if you take away maybe one of those interceptions, we're probably having a different conversation. Now, Matthew Stafford, I will say, I thought he had a pretty decent game today. I know that the talk was, how are the Rams going to fare in this weather, right? They're a dome team. Matthew Stafford doesn't really play in the cold too much. I understand, or excuse me, doesn't play well in the cold too much. I know a lot of people are mentioning how, well, they had a good game last year, you know, playing in the snow in Philadelphia. Well, yeah, they lost though, you know, and this year, you know, it's colder. It's in more frigid weather.
Yeah, that wouldn't be ridiculous.
It was. But, you know, I for me personally, I thought that this was a good game. Just overall, this was a very exciting game. I think the Bears have foundational pieces. They spent some pretty decent capital bringing in, I think it was Jonah Jackson and Joe Tooney, you know, and that ended up paying off. Chicago's had an offensive line issue for quite some time. Defensively, they're suspect, but they have pieces on defense that they can build around. So for a second-year player to have the success that Caleb Williams has had so far this year, I think they should keep their heads up high. This was a devastating loss. But the Rams, I'm not entirely confident in Sean McVay and this Rams team. I have a lot of questions about their defense, who I've been typically high on this year. But I just feel like the last 5 games, they haven't been that good, in my opinion. But I thought this was a good game. I really did think this was an exciting game. And to kind of wrap it up for me, to go to your point, Aaron, I thought that was one of the best throws that we've seen in the postseason in quite some time. Not just this year, but quite some time. I mean, to throw the ball 45 yards off of your back foot to score a touchdown. I mean, the arm strength, the accuracy, maybe not in the pocket, but outside of the pocket that Caleb Williams has. I mean, it's exciting. I think it's very exciting. He has a lot to grow from. He has a lot to learn coming off of this season. You can't turn the ball over in the way that he has this year. But yeah, that's really how I felt.
Yeah, no, I think if he feeds off the energy like he did in Soldier Field in this particular game, and the way that he loves Tom Brady, just analyzes these losses, maybe he can be a successful USC quarterback, because there's really not any successful ones out there. But Hollywood Ray,
we just talked about one earlier in the show.
Who was successful USC?
Sam Darnold.
He's successful. Oh, all right. I guess.
I mean, back-to-back 14-win seasons. Is that not success?
I like to see success when he has a Super Bowl ring.
I think, because I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
That can't be the only measurement of success, because not everyone's going to Super Bowl.
I haven't seen much USC quarterbacks win Super Bowls. That could put them over the edge.
It could.
Him to Ronnie Pete, like, come on. Sorry, hey, Holly Robinson, if you ever come across the clip, listen, I love you, Holly Robinson, his wife. Listen, you know, 21 Jump Street, hanging with Mr. Cooper, like, you're awesome. Your husband was a good player too. He just wasn't, you know, the guy that he was supposed to be in the NFL. Just give it a real. You know, he was hit at himself too. He didn't, you know, okay. Played everywhere, Detroit, Carolina, like he was everywhere. But yeah, it can't just be measured off the rings, in my opinion. It has to be, did you make improvements? And he has. We just talked about this is his best year that he's had, his career year. I won't say a career year, but he was a lot better at different moments for Seattle than he was even last year in Minnesota, and obviously, you know, previous in his career with Carolina or the Jets. So,
yeah, I mean, and I get that, and I understand the USC argument. You can make the same argument for Ohio State quarterbacks.
Oh, for sure,
right?
And Alabama.
And Alabama.
Yeah,
I think though, with Caleb Williams, I think Sam Darnold's had a great year. And I think right now I'll give Sam Darnold the edge just because obviously the last 2 seasons he's put more out there that shows high quality film. But I do think within the next year, maybe 2 years tops, I think the conversation will flip where Caleb Williams is the better quarterback. So I understand both sides of the argument where it's like, okay, until a USC quarterback wins a Super Bowl, sure. But I think if we're talking about straight talent, though, I think they're both very talented quarterbacks. Caleb Williams is a phenomenal quarterback. If we're talking about talent-wise, maybe not in terms of obviously quarterback rankings, right? But talent-wise, he can make all the throws. He made a Jordan jump shot throw just last week. I mean,
it's true.
Hey, he's very talented. So is Sam Darnold. But he has a lot to learn. He has a lot to learn and no growth from.
Right. Personally, I mean, it's funny, we didn't bring this guy up, but Aaron probably knows where I'm going with this because he played in the best college football championship game of all time. Matt Leinart. I thought Matt Leinart was going to be an absolute problem at the next level. Really did. And it just didn't pan out in Houston or Arizona. Like it was wild. I just knew he was going to be a problem. Him and Dwayne Jarrett, the other Steve Smith, Lindell White, Reggie Bush, who Reggie Bush to me is the greatest college football player of all time, personally. With my eyes that I saw, I know there's other guys that people will say, once again, better teams, that's fine. But as a player, Reggie Bush was the best I've seen, personally. But no, like I said, Matt Leinart, I thought Matt Leinart was going to be a problem. It just didn't happen for him there.
Speaking of Matt, though, do you think with the performance that Matthew Stafford had in this game, do you think in going into the NFC Championship game, he's going to have the mental improvements to defeat the Seattle Seahawks? It is a division game as well.
I'll let you. Yeah, you go first. I would say.
Well, like Aaron said, I'm biased to Matthew Stafford. I think he's really good.
He's crushed on him since he popped out his shoulder.
Many years ago. I think that once again that's so because you're new to us here, but like I wanted him to replace Brady in 2020. Like that's how much I like Matthew Stafford. I think that he's I think he's that good. And I think we wouldn't have skipped the beat personally, but and it proved it because they literally won the next year with him. But but obviously we didn't have Aaron Donald in the Cooper Cup. But I think that he mental improvements. I mean, this is not 2012 Matthew Stafford. This is 2026 Matthew Stafford, and he has one of the best receiver duos in the game. And as you have here on the graphic, Kyron Williams, chipped in with 2 touchdowns for himself today. So, and there's anyone that could carve them up, is him. Like he's been in every environment, so it's not like he's going to be nervous to walk into Lumen Field. The 12th man definitely is very real. I'm not going to say it is like it is. But I don't see him getting rattled in Seattle. And I actually think that I still think that Seattle wins. Actually, I'm going to go on a limb and say that Seattle wins, but I still think Matthew Stafford has a really good game, though. I don't see him having a bad game up there.
Yeah, and also I didn't realize, just popped up right here, Sean McVay's 15th postseason game, 15th different opponent.
Oh yeah, I did see that stat last week when they were saying that. I did. That's a weird ESPN give me stat, but yeah, it's like okay.
It's quite interesting.
He's this will be his 3rd Super Bowl, right? That he got.
If he gets there,
yes. Yeah. If he gets there.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about just Matthew Stafford versus that Seahawks defense, I mean, he's had a ton of success at least this season going against that defense. I believe one game I think he threw for over 400 yards, or it was close to 400 yards. I don't know if we could double check that real quick, but if there's any quarterback that I feel like could have success against that Seahawks team, if it's between Matthew Stafford and Caleb Williams, I would put my money on Matthew Stafford. More familiar, I think he has the better coach. I think he has the better wide receivers. I think he has the better defense. So I feel like that should be a good game. But they're going to be in better weather, right, than what they just were in Chicago. Matthew Stafford, though, I think that if you are the MVP of the league, which many people think that you are right now, then you need to go out there to Seattle and win that game. You have no choice but to win that game. I'm not saying you got to go win the Super Bowl, but this is a game where, you have Puka, you have Devontae Adams, they should be fairly healthy going into that game as a team. So I think Matthew Stafford, look, for you to be 19-39 with 242, I would like to see a little bit of a better game from Matthew Stafford in terms of the completion percentage, maybe, because that defense for Seattle, they can make you really regret, some boneheaded decisions. And Matthew Stafford made some boneheaded decisions today that thankfully didn't bite them in the ass. He played a, if you will, a clean game in terms of the turnover aspect of it. But, he's, in my opinion, I think that he has a good shot of winning next week. Now, am I going to take them? No. But I think that he has a good shot of winning next week. And he probably should, right? He probably should win that game. But yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, in the two games against Seattle, they're 1-1. So the first game, he went 15-28, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, won that 21-19. And then a few weeks ago, they lost 38-37 in overtime. He was 29 for 49, 457, 3 touchdowns. So we're going to find out next week which Matthew Stafford shows up. But before we go, there were 2. I guess they were not really clean your desk, but bringing your desk in, so to speak. I can't really think of it right now. But one of them we have right here is, if it'll let me, and there we go, little John Harbaugh to the Giants, and he quotes, "We're going to build a team that's going to play a brand of football that you will be proud of." So I will say first Hollywood Red, because Christian's been talking about it a lot with John Harbaugh this week. So what were your thoughts on the John Harbaugh hire?
Just to add on to what I said earlier. So I do think it's a good hire. I think that he's an excellent coach. Once again, when you have who you have there in the picture behind him, right? Those are guys that you can build with, right? And you saw games in the season where, once again, when y'all smacked Philly on that Thursday night, it was like, oh, okay, this was a glimpse of the future. And, when you're in a rebuild, and I know because I've been a part of one the last 7 years.
Oh, don't start with that Patriots rebuild stuff. Get out of here.
Was it not? Did it not?
Let's not say things we don't mean.
Were they not 4-13 the last 2 years before this year?
It's not a rebuild though. They got their quarterback like instantly.
No.
Like they didn't get to suffer like the Giants.
A year of Cam Newton. A year of Cam Newton. Then you get Mac Jones, who was a Pro Bowler. And then they go 8-9, 4-13, and then obviously they get Vrabel, go 14-3. Cool. So of course it was. Once again, it might have been a short one, but it still was one.
Smallest violin I'm playing, folks.
Yeah, that's fine. You can play with it. You can play a violin, cello, drums, whatever. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna start being Jeff Teague now. I'm gonna start bringing out props.
Oh god.
No, seriously, because I was giving you guys props, and now you're on my case, sir. No, but like I said, good hire, good building blocks there, and I think that because of his credibility as a coach, there'll be guys that want to play there. But as long as they draft well, that's really the key. If you draft well, and he's had some recent hits, right? Obviously, the Rashad Bateman's, the Zay Flowers, even though he fumbles in the end zone.
Kyle Hamilton's
of the world. So they've had some guys there
that contribute down there in Baltimore to winning football. So, it once again, it can happen as quickly as year one. This doesn't mean there's going to be, so it's all good. But but yeah, good hire for you overall.
As far as I've seen, John Harbaugh is reporting to John Mara personally. He doesn't have to go through the GM. Love that. I also love that Jermaine Illuminor was a Baltimore Raven with John Harbaugh. Hopefully that makes him re-sign with us, because if we could do that and keep building on the offensive line for Jackson Dart so he doesn't do +2, I think that'll be great. And also as well, Carmen Brasillo needs to stay in the building. I don't care what you have to pay him to keep him there. He needs to stay there. That's all I have to say on that one.
Yeah. I've received some pushback in the early, the early process of the Giants being interested in John Harbaugh. I've been even going before, he was fired. I've been fairly hard on John Harbaugh just because, yes, have there been games in the postseason that Lamar has not played his best? Have there been games in the postseason where guys like Mark Andrews or Zay Flowers have let the offense down? Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's not going to all be on John Harbaugh. But I do think that there have been points. I like to go through like the last 5 years just because 18 years is a long time. So, I'm not expecting you to be perfect in 18 years. But just within the last 5 years, there have been a lot of questionable things with John Harbaugh that just gave me a lot of hesitation. And I've been very vocal that prior to Harbaugh being fired, my first choice that I really wanted was either Chris Shula or Clint Kubiak, the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. But they went and they got John Harbaugh. And I sat on it, as things were heating up and he was in the building. I was telling myself, I said, all right, there's a good chance that this is going to happen. So let's just accept it. And let's just try to look at the positives from it. Right. While also addressing the negatives, but looking at the positives of it. Everything that John Harbaugh is everything that the Giants as an organization has lacked for the better half of a decade. Right. He brings stability. He brings culture. Right. He brings culture changing, at least. I think that he brings adaptability, which the Giants have not been an adaptable team. Again, in the last decade, we know that he's going to bring in some solid coordinators, whether it's Monken, whether it's on the defensive side, which I would have more confidence in, just because he has a history of hiring some very good defensive coordinators and they turn out to go get some head coaching jobs. Right. So I like the hire a lot. I think that, this could be a franchise altering hire for the New York Giants. I'm very excited to see how this team looks with better coaching because, when you look at the foundational pieces that they have, I mean, people are going to mention, Scotabo and Malik Neighbors. Obviously, that's valid. Same with Jackson Dart. But you do have Andrew Thomas, who I think is a top 3 left tackle when he's healthy. Jermaine Illuminor, if they re-sign him, I think that he's a top 12, maybe 15 right tackle. He had himself a good year. Then you go to the defensive side of the ball. Brian Burns, second in sacks this year with 16, or I think it was 16 and a half.
16
Yep, Abdul Carter, down the stretch showed you why he was drafted 3rd overall. But even though really how he played down the stretch is how he's been playing all year, but he just hasn't been finishing plays, right? Kayvon, we mentioned him earlier. We'll see if he's still on the team, but he had himself a good year prior to his injury. They have pieces, right? And I think that if they can, similar to what I feel like a broken record right now, but similar to some of the good organizations out there, if they can go out there and hire the right guys, if they can execute in free agency, if they can attack the draft the way that they have been attacking at least the last 2 years, I could see this team being a 9-win team, possibly a 10-win team. They have at least looking at the schedule, the dates haven't been released, but the teams have. On paper, it looks very tough, but that's what John Harbaugh brings. He brings toughness. He will make sure these guys are ready. And, I think that he is the hire that this franchise needed. As much as I would have wanted Chris Shula or Clint Kubiak, they're unknowns. We don't know, how these guys were going to be. We don't know how receptive these players were going to be. John Harbaugh demands instant respect. He has credibility. These guys are going to listen to him. And I'm very excited to see how this team fares in the NFC East, because I think Philly is kind of, I don't want to say plateauing, but I don't really got a ton of confidence in Philly. Dallas, if they can fix that defense, we'll see, but they're going to be in the conversation. Washington, can they improve from a down year? I see that we got, someone in the chat. So what's Joe Shane's role now? Harbaugh's office assistant, possibly.
He has to. He literally has to be an office assistant.
He's lucky to have a job.
Exactly.
Right?
He's lucky John Harbaugh likes him.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, if you're watching and you're not entirely, caught up with the whole Harbaugh saga, it was, you had Giants fans tracking the owner's plane. You had Giants fans, trying to figure out what's going on. You had people on the beat updating us what felt like every 5 minutes, telling us to be calm, or hey, they're trying to get some language figured out in the contract, which ultimately it came down to how much control and how much say John Harbaugh is going to have. Again, Joe Shane is lucky to have a job. John Harbaugh, he's going to instill some things that they had over in Baltimore and why they were a winning organization. Whether it's the draft, whether it's structuring contracts, he's going to say, this is how we did this in Baltimore. This is how our process was in Baltimore. This is, why are you taking a safety at 5? X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So it's just, I'm excited for it. I think it's what the organization needs. I know I'm kind of just going on a rant. I want to hear what Aaron has to say.
Listen, the floor is y'all, man. It's good. It's good.
But yeah.
The only thing I'll have to say is I appreciate Tom Coughlin, the way they did him dirty at the end of the 2015 season and pretty much recruited John Harbaugh, talking the way he talked about the organization to John Harbaugh, to give him to say, listen, this is the job you need to take. I once a giant, always a giant. He definitely took that to heart from what Eli Manning said in Wellington Mara. So I appreciate Tom Coughlin doing that for John Harbaugh. But yeah, like Christian was saying, I'm just gonna sit and wait. I'm not gonna be too hyped up. I'm not gonna be too mad. I gotta see what's happening in the offseason, drafts, this and that, because I can't keep my hopes up for what I've seen in this organization that Giants fans that are way too young haven't seen. And Hollywood Ray can say about this with the New England Patriots, because these Patriot fans, new Giants fans, they don't understand what it was like with the hardships or what good for it. They just see what they see. But that's kind of all for that. So there was actually another hiring, and this guy, I was surprised. It looks like he put salt on his food. Doesn't have that much flavor. Yeah, fired a guy who was there, and that's Kevin Stefanski. This dude right here. This is the last 2 years. 8-26. Kevin Stefanski, 16-18 for Raheem Morris.
Can I attack this real quick when you're done? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Keep going. I'm entertained right now because this is a joke. So it
is a joke. He essentially gets Bijan Robinson. I'm not sure who at quarterback. He gets Drake London. Kyle Pitts is definitely gone, so maybe he does go to New England. The defense, spectacular. I think very good pieces. It's almost a Cleveland-esque. So I am head scratching the heck out of this. I would have kept Raheem Morris for another year just by looking at these stats than hiring Kevin Stefanski, who again looks like he puts salt on everything, has no flavor.
And I get that. Look, I'll be honest with you. Out of the remaining coaches that were left in the head coaching cycle, I actually thought that this hire made sense for Atlanta, because what was Atlanta's problem last year? It wasn't the defense. It was the offense.
Well, that was Zach Robinson.
And I get that. But at the same time, I like Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's not Bijan Robinson. Jerry Jeudy, we don't even got to talk about Jerry Jeudy. He's not Drake London. I like Njoku.
Can you give me a water, please?
Yeah, I like Njoku, but he's not Kyle Pitts, right? I think that they have a better offensive line.
Can you give me water, please?
I think that when you look at the Cleveland Browns, right, I would make an argument that he's probably the best coach that they've had in the 2000s, Kevin Stefanski. Now, that's not saying a lot. They're not a good organization. They don't make good hires, but you don't win Coach of the Year twice by accident, right? We won it with Baker Mayfield. You had Josh oh my God, Josh Allen's on my mind right now. You had Joe Flacco, and you win Coach of the Year too. It's rumored that they're going to keep Olbrich, the defensive coordinator there, so I think that's good.
That's a good keep.
That is a good keep because I thought that he was going to bring Jim Schwartz with him. Now, look, he has his warts as a coach, right? He's not the perfect coach, but I do think that what the Falcons lack, he can bring, right? We know that he's going to lean a lot on his run game, which means, hey, Bijan Robinson, expect more touches, which I don't think any fan would complain seeing Bijan Robinson get more touches, whether that's through the ground, whether that's through the air. And then obviously Drake London, I mean, I think that he's a solid receiver. I would put him as a top 15, maybe a top 12 wide receiver in the NFL. But ultimately the biggest question mark is the quarterback position. But I'll be honest with you guys, I would not be shocked if, at least for next year, if they just trot out Kirk Cousins. There were a lot of speculations and rumors a couple years back. Stefanski wanted Cousins. Ultimately, he ends up going to the Falcons. Hasn't really worked out, right? But I do think that Cousins fits exactly what Kevin Stefanski wants in a quarterback. It's not the franchise move, but it's a Band-Aid until next year's draft, which is looking like, at least so far, a better draft class than this year. And they don't have a first-round pick anyways this year, which he's accustomed to, right? The Browns ownership traded how many first-round picks for Deshaun Watson? So that's not, the biggest concern. Again, I think when you just compare the remaining coaches that were in the head coaching cycle, I don't think it's the worst hire, but I've seen some Falcons fans, treating this like this is just the absolute worst hire in their franchise's history. What are they doing? I saw some people, listen, because I know I'm going to get backlash for saying this. I love Deion Sanders. I think he's a good coach. But you had people saying we need to go hire Deion Sanders.
Let's not say things.
It's not. But can we pump the brakes here real quick? Can we pump the brakes here real quick?
I don't want to hear hold on, sorry, Christian. I don't want to hear anything out of you, Hollywood Ray. You did not acknowledge Black Jesus, aka Michael Vick, a few years back on That's My Sports. So I don't want to hear that.
I mean, was Matt Ryan not better than him?
I think he's a more accomplished quarterback and he's a better pocket passer. But if we're talking about athleticism and arm talent,
there's no more athletic than Michael Vick ever.
I'd say Lamar.
But it was crazy. But
Michael Vick just loved Magic City. Okay, got the lemon pepper Lou over there as well. All right, I think Kevin Stefanski might need some of that to get some players in, but I still think Mike Vick's Black Jesus in the ATL. That's just me.
The fans are going to hate it.
Of them out there, I don't know how you go in from getting like I said, you see the win-loss record here. He just has not been good the last two seasons. That's crazy. To me, he should have been a coordinator somewhere else, build it back up, and then how Dan Quinn did it. And you know what I'm saying? That to me is wild. But Dan Quinn was someone that was good there. I think Mike Smith was there. I remember when what's the guy left to go to Louisville? Oh my God.
Bobby Petrino didn't even
Bobby Petrino.
He left a note on everyone's chair.
Yeah, that's what a joke.
That's wild.
I mean, after what happened for 28-3, they deserve whatever bad happens to them. So it doesn't matter to me.
I get, but see, my thing is, I feel like the graphic is just a little deceiving because you look at the numbers, and if you didn't know the history of the Cleveland Browns or the quarterback carousel that they've had just within the last 3 years, we're not going to go back to Baker Mayfield, right? But just since Baker has left, the quarterback carousel that the Browns have had, I don't know of many coaches that would be able to succeed with the quarterbacks that Stefanski has. I mean, it's a list. It's a long list of quarterbacks that this man had to deal with. And look, I'm not the highest on Michael Penix. I'm not the highest on Kirk Cousins in this latter half of his career. I don't know about you guys, but can we all agree that both Penix and Kirk Cousins, I mean, I'm not going to get too hard on Shador because he's still young. I want to see more out of him, so I'm going to remove him from this conversation just for right now. But I would argue that Penix, yeah, well, listen, I think after, I mean, we could say Show, but I don't think a lot of people thought that Show would be doing what he's doing in New Orleans right now. He fell for a reason, right? Whereas Shador fell for a different reason. For me personally, though, I think that Penix and Kirk Cousins, while not saying much, is a lot better than the quarterbacks that the Browns have had within the last 3 years, minus Shador Sanders. Yeah. So for me, and then on top of that, take the quarterbacks out. Their offensive line, which used to be one of the strongest units on their team, has been one of the worst in the last 2 years.
You have a Joe Thomas forever, sure. Of course, it's going to look good.
Well, I mean, Joe Thomas, I think he retired before.
Joe Patonio. I mean, Jack Conklin, when healthy, was really good for that team. Alex Mack.
From 2020 to 2023, they had it was above average, but I believe it was like a top 11, top 10 offensive line. And then players started getting injured. They started getting older, right. And obviously, age when you're increasing in age and you're not available. I mean, that's one of the hardest units to solve outside of quarterback, right, in the NFL. So I look at it as, right, offensive line is old, it's injured. Run game has been inefficient since Nick Chubb's injury, and he's been shipped out. Then you have the quarterback carousel. Then you have an owner who meddles more than Jerry Jones, which I live in Dallas, Texas. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Okay. My family's moving in Dallas. They in DeSoto.
Okay, I know what that is. Yeah. I know what that is. You have people here. Listen, I met two different kinds of people here. You have people here that will agree with you and be like, we're not winning nothing until Jerry Jones either, or whichever. And then you have people that'll be like, you are not going to talk about Gerald Wayne Jones like that in my presence. Oh, so it's like it's wild. But the Browns have a worse owner, right? They have an owner who meddles. You feel me? Like they have an owner who meddles. But ultimately, though, I don't think it's the worst hire for Atlanta. Is it the best hire? No. But I think it's a hire that when you look at what the Falcons needed help with, it makes sense. And I like Raheem Morris. I agree with you, Aaron. He should have gotten another year. I didn't think that he was going to get fired. If anything, I would have fired maybe the general manager. But I thought he had a good draft. So I thought they both should have came back for one more year. But Raheem Morris, there were a lot of times, both this year and last year, where he was making some questionable decisions when game time comes. I mean, he had poor clock management. I mean, some of the teams that they laid out there last year, I mean, this year was better, but I feel like the defense kind of carried them. Two things could be true. He maybe he should have stayed, but he also probably should have went as well. But we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I think Atlanta fans, they dislike it right now, but if they start winning games, because that division isn't that good, if they start winning games and their offense looks good, I think they'll come around.
Yeah. Well, to cap it off on that, we'll keep figuring out what happens with the rest of these coaching jobs. Before we get out of here with our final thoughts, I saw that Brian Dable was interviewing for the Eagles, Tennessee Titans head coaching job, and to be Jim Harbaugh's offensive coordinator down in Los Angeles. So with that, we will get into our final thoughts. I will start off first. Make sure you guys follow the Giant Topic on all media platforms. She's got a new show out there. It's called Unbiased Giants. Right? I think I said that right. Unbiased Giants.
So we have a new segment. We're still doing like our regular videos, and we're going to be pumping those out more. But we do have a segment on the pod now where we have Ryan Henderson from Ryan's Big Blue Podcast. He comes on like once a week. It's a Unbiased Giants show.
There it is. Yeah. I saw the first episode. It was really good. definitely threw some comments in there. I think all the younger people in the chat didn't know what I was talking about. So that's just some new Giants fans. That's okay.
You see what I got to deal with?
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow Fake Football Analysts on YouTube, as well as TikTok and on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I call it Twitter still, so that's okay. And tomorrow is MLK Jr. Day, so make sure y'all celebrate, pick up a book, watch what's the movie called, Hollywood Ray? It's like something Martin.
Oh, my friend Martin.
My friend Martin. Make sure you guys check out that show. And as always, Black people matter. Hollywood Ray, take it away with your final thoughts.
We're back, baby.
All right, that's enough.
No, seriously. Listen, NFL referees, man, I got to get it together. There's too many calls where you're deciding games, really deciding livelihoods, right? Forget about, BetUS and DraftKings and, all this other stuff that's now, legalized gambling. You're costing livelihoods, and there's too many eyes, there's too much money, there's too much technology to blatantly get these calls wrong, right? So definitely get better in that regard. As you said, Aaron, like I said, tomorrow's MLK Day, or it gets observed. Great leader, great man. So definitely do research on the stuff that he was doing, the legacy that he left behind. And on a different note, Christian, it was great to have you on here, man. Whenever I do come back down there, we need to hit up a spot called Babes down the Cedar Hill.
I'm familiar with Babes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So even little chicken and waffles out down in South Lake. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so I look forward to that. But as always, Black Lives Matter, not when it's convenient for you.
Agreed. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always great to talk football with you guys. I think this has been a great, playoff series. Not just this weekend, but last weekend as well. I think next weekend will be even more exciting. I agree with Hollywood Ray. The officiating has been god-awful this year. That could be a whole other episode. I do think gambling plays a big part into it. But ultimately, like the guys said, Black Lives Matter. Go celebrate tomorrow. Educate yourselves if you have not already. Just to kind of wrap it up for me over here, I had someone recently invite me to a place called Billy Bob's, which apparently is a club over here, or not a club, but like a what do you say? It's like a place where you go to two-step, whatever the hell that is. I'm from Florida, so it's like we don't be doing that shit over
What part of Florida?
For Lauderdale, but really,
that's out of Miami. Okay, no, I used to live down in Miami. That's why I say that. So
okay, bet for sure.
I was in Little Haiti, so
I know what that is. Yeah. I know what that is. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
We'll have to talk, man. Because I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Dope.
Yeah, sure. and also too, no one here is gonna say it except for me. Tomorrow night as well is a Natty.
I was surprised
you wouldn't understand. So on that note, I'm your host, the most, Aaron Cash. Here's Hollywood Ray, and we got Christian Cruz on the bottom. Peace.